How do you prune blueberries? I just got these from the garden center, and when I planted them, I should have pruned them immediately to help with any loss of roots and assist with transplant shock, but I didn't because I knew it was going to rain. I didn't want to leave any open cuts susceptible to disease or other pathogens. And so I'm coming back and I'm pruning now. The very first thing to look for are any broken branches, as well as any brown branches. I'm using cleaned bypass pruners. These are going to give me the sharpest cut on branches that are about pinky size thick or a little bit smaller. Here is a great example of a shrub that has a bunch of brown dead parts. So I'm always going right above a node and pruning right above that. Anything that's brown is coming out. Here is an example of one of these brown tips, and I am looking for a node with healthy growth right here, and I'm cutting right above that. There's 2 more rules of thumb. The next is that you want to remove any inward growing branches. So anything that is growing into the shrub and rubbing with another branch. The next rule is to get rid of a third of your shrub. In the past, I have included a third to be the berries, the little tiny berries that are just starting to form, or the flowers. This year I'm going to experiment and see if I can just prune out a third and avoid all of those flowers and berries. Here is an example of an inward growing branch growing inside into the shrub. And we want to allow for good airflow, and so that is going to be part of my pruning and a third. I also don't have any berries growing or flowers forming above this group, so I'm going to prune this up. Typically you prune most fruit trees and shrubs after they are done fruiting, but blueberries like to be pruned immediately after frost, right then in early spring. So depending on how many sets of flowers and berries you have, you can decide whether or not you are going to include them in the 1/3 rule.